Welcome to the City Advertiser Promotion Commission meeting. This is March 26, 2025, 6 p.m., Rickett Springs Auditorium. I'm Steve Holofield, and we'll start our meeting. Heather, can we have a roll call, please?
Yep. I'm going to conduct the roll call. David Avanzino.
Present.
Heather Wilson, present. Steve Holofield.
Present.
Shira Faust.
Present.
Robert Schmid.
Here.
Colin Polk.
He will be in a minute.
He's up via Zoom. We're trying via Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda updates. Commissioners may add to the agenda with a motion, second, and vote. Anybody have anything they want to add or take away from the agenda?
Heather?
Heather?
Under old business amended bylaws, chair term limits, I'd also like to add just a subcategory on how commissioners are appointed and updating that per state law.
Okay. That's new business? New commission appointments?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? All right, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I second that.
David made the motion, Shira seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is set. Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the February 26th meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Robert made the motion, and David seconded. All in favor of approving the minutes for the February 26th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Financial report, Ty.
Page 1 has the balance sheet. That shows $1,807,000 in the bank. Page 3 starts the profit and loss statement. First few columns is for the month of February, then we have year-to-date, and then the total budget for the year to compare. February collections, $90,789.70 with a budget of $90,000. Year-to-date collections, $201,000 with a budget of $198,000. Total income for February was $102,530. The budget of $106,000. Year-to-date total income year-to-date income $225,633 with a budget of $229,500. We can look over individual expenses if you want, but on page 4, the total expenses for February was a net loss of $49,388 with a budget of negative $86,771. Year-to-date net loss of $188,000 with a budget of net loss of $217,000 with an equity infusion to bring it to zero. On page 5 shows the actual collections by month for 23 through January 25. If you notice, we did some past collections for 2024, so we're now officially above 2023.
Could you repeat that, please?
And I've been working with, there's several collectors that are past due quite a few months, and I've worked out payment plans with them, and so we don't get that money right away, but they are paying on it. And right now, for last year, we're collecting about $40,000 more. So that's past due.
So I just have one thing to say. I'm looking at the past due businesses, and quite frankly, I'm a little upset that our advertising, we're putting out all this advertising, bringing people to the city, and they're not submitting their taxes. And they're getting the absolute benefit.
Well, I agree. It was chaos last year. And so I'm finally getting a handle on it. I'm getting my feet under it. And now I send a past due statement every month. And I've been in contact with all the people that are past due. So we're working on getting that caught up, and we're going to keep it caught up from here on out.
Okay.
Well, it's in the best interest to pay immediately or every month, we're going to add 10% interest on each month.
How many months do we send past due notices before we move on to the next step to elevate it?
We haven't had to do that yet.
Okay.
People have been very good about communicating with me, so
Okay.
we haven't come to that hurdle yet.
Except the one that's on the bottom of the page?
Well, that's a new one that I'm working with, so I've got messages into them, but I have confidence that they'll get a hold of me and we'll work it out.
Okay.
I mean, the businesses need to be aware, like if they're way behind and if you have like a business which refuses to contact,
Right.
you just go there and you pull their license.
Right.
And they're done until they catch up. I remember from past times that, like you would give 3 months time. And if they're more than 3 months and there's no payment plan, there's nothing worked out, then you just pull the license.
Yes.
That usually gets them very quickly.
Right. And we'll go there if we have to. So,
Yeah.
That does light a fire.
I agree. I mean, we should probably actually put that in some kind of,
I mean, it's our responsibility to make sure that everybody
They put on the
pays.
door too, that even said that they were delinquent or that they had.
And as a reminder, I mean, people always say, I'm the taxpayer. No, you're the tax collector. It's not your money.
Yep.
So you just collect it and you have to give it to the parties involved, like the city, the state, CAPC. You can't just put it in your pocket and use it for something else. And I've seen it in the past, and that's just a misconception from some business owners.
yeah.
Yeah, it's strong language, but essentially it is stealing. And, I know that it's easier to catch flies with honey, but there is a certain point where we have to draw the line.
I mean, we have regulations for that already in place. We just need to enforce it.
and we will.
So Ty, when you say multiple months, are these like, is there like a 3-month, a 4-month, a 5-month kind of thing, or?
Yes, 3 to 6 or more months.
I mean, to me, anything over 3 months, we need to pull their license. Whether it's for 30 days, I believe that's in our bylaws, right? Or in the state law, actually.
There's two things. There's two things. Number one, anybody that is holding an ABC license will lose that license, and that will shut them down immediately. We do have that privilege, if you want to call it that. We've used that a couple of times just because it was necessary to do that. And what we found is it's very effective. With these other people, however, digging down deep into the system and finding out, for instance, as you've seen the list, some people that just literally fell off the face of the earth, we have got to go back to those people and do the demand letters. And that's what Ty is doing right now on a monthly basis with just reminders. The second part of that is to go ahead and follow up with certified letters of what we will do. And then what we have done with one of our lodging properties recently was we did a process server, which came in and gave them that information. They weren't happy about it, but that's the way it goes. So we're taking that extreme step too, when we've got to finally go ahead and demand payment on these things. At that point, according to our bylaws, if we don't get payment, then we can go ahead and subpoena them, and we'll take it to the prosecutor in Carroll County, and then that's when the legal prosecution takes place at that point. Pull the license, pull anything that they have, so that can shut them down.
But are we doing that? Are
We
gonna-
haven't done it yet. We haven't done it in a while, no, sir. But we have that privilege to do that, and I think what we're doing with his payment plan right now, trying to go ahead and get those monies into us, we're giving them the option of either paying us over a period of time, or if they don't pay, then we will go ahead and take the next step, and that will be engaging the prosecuting attorney. So,
I actually would suggest that, and sorry, Ty, but I would set a date for our next meeting that you have a plan with the one which is very late. Either way, the license is pulled because it's more than it's multiple months, and no contact. And the other ones, all of those, not the first ones, they're from January, but the ones which are longer than January, that you have a written payment plan with them.
We do.
We do.
Do you have?
Yes.
I think
Okay. Those are all good, huh? It's just the last one.
Right, and well, I'm working, it's just one, I just keep going through all the collectors, and I'm just getting to this one,
Yeah.
so.
But yeah, that one, that you have a solution till the next meeting. Either way, the license is pulled, or they have contacted you with a proper plan.
People have been very willing to work with me, so I haven't come to that problem yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, I read it says no contact yet.
Right, but it's just recently that I've been trying to contact them.
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
And that one came about yesterday. So that's the reason for that one.
Okay, then hopefully we'll see a move up
Correct.
for the next meeting. Okay.
Okay.
And I mean, I would just want to reiterate that on the backside of the collection form, there is a instruction how the CAPC collects the taxes and what happens if somebody's late. It kind of explains it there. So the new form on the website has it on if you print it twice, double-sided, however, there's clearly, it is there if people want to know how it's handled.
Heather?
Could we just, for next meeting, have a breakdown? It doesn't need to be a fancy spreadsheet, but just for the multiple months past due, kind of categorize it by how many, 3 months, 6 months, et cetera, so we just know how far behind.
Yep.
Thank you.
You look like this has become a very frustrating process for you.
Well, I'm making some good progress, though. I've
Okay,
been working
good.
really hard at it, and we're making some good progress.
Yeah, and I mean, I know last year was
Volatile.
a blank show, but that doesn't forgive these businesses from paying their taxes.
Right.
Anything else on that financial report?
Just the last page is the market funding support detail. It shows the remaining budget of $41,000 for the year.
All right. Any other questions for Ty?
I do real quick, on the expenses, so here we'll go back to, that will be what, page 4? We are below the budgeted amount in the expenses, $29,000. What have we not spent for that we haven't spent 29,000 more?
One of the biggest differences is right now we haven't been invoiced as much for Madden as we just allocated we just did a split evenly for the year.
Okay.
And so and the amount varies, so it's been lower than what's budgeted. So that's the biggest one.
That's the biggest one, okay.
Anything else? Any other questions? Do I have a motion to accept the financial report as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Heather made the motion, David seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Say aye. Aye. David. Okay, financial report accepted. Advertising liaison report, just want to acknowledge that Colin is stepping down as our advertising liaison person, and Shira is picking that up, and she's still learning, so she told me she doesn't really have anything to say about it, so I was like, right?
Correct, thank you.
But I just want to acknowledge, make sure everybody's aware that Colin now is going to be Shira's responsibility. Colin is real busy with his business, and he's asked to kind of back off a little bit. Tourism Director's Report, Mike?
Okay, we're going to start off with really the good stuff here.
Like the hat.
Happy St. Patrick!
We love you.
It's hard to guesstimate how many people were at all the way up to the Cat House, all the way up to the post office and beyond. It was a very successful parade. We have one more video to look at this evening. I'm really kind of thrilled about this one because we just got it in this afternoon, and I think you'll enjoy this. It involves something that we've all been kind of waiting on and looking at, and now you'll get a chance to see what this is and what it looks like. So we have this little opera house down the street that's getting ready to open at the end of May. So it's pretty cool. We want to thank Dr. Alice Martinson for that video. She sent us this afternoon and was delighted to see it. We'll go ahead and get into some reporting information that we have that I think you'll find somewhat interesting and valuable. One of the things that Shira is learning is that we have an enormous amount of data that we can go through, and I could spend all my time doing nothing but data analysis. But on the same token, we still have to go out in the street and do some things periodically. During the first quarter, we've been running search engine marketing and search engine marketing near me, along with Google prospecting and some major remarketing. And I think what you'll see here is thus far our branded impressions over 2 million, which is really very good. So we're spending our money in a good way. Our SEM is actually kind of jumping over our SEO for the first time, which is an indication that these particular types of tactics are working pretty well. And when we take a look at the branded clicks, the 53,603, those are the ones that we pay for. There's a lot of back and forth there with organic and otherwise. But what we're seeing is upticks of everything that we're doing. One of the things we determined was our meta campaign saw increases across the board with new users up 22%. So we're gaining in our users. Our month-over-month engaged sessions up 46% from the month prior. And we're still pushing that envelope upwards. Google demand generated launch midway through the month in February is already delivering strong results. We saw an uptick of 13,000 clicks last month. And that really brought our CTR up pretty well for the month of February. Search engine marketing, 115% growth in our traffic, which we're happy about, and the homepage is bringing more than 400% more views in 2025 compared to 2024, which is pretty good. A little bit more on our site performance insights I'll give you. In our site traffic, you can see the difference between the paid search and the organic searches. Our paid search is what we pay for, literally, and we had 15,397 users. Our organic, just people going to us on their own, 12,000 people. Direct right to us when they go to visit eurekasprings.com, 4,788. And then our social media posts are rising again with 4,300. Those are through Madden. Our own internally are a little higher than that. But what we're finding is that our year-to-year overall is just growing really nicely. So our direct traffic was slightly down in February compared to 2024, but our cross-network traffic is coming into the mix and it's driving these channels up for us, which is a good thing. I've got two computers here, so I've got to figure out which one I'm using. This is an indication of our top pages of what people are searching for on visiteurekasprings.com. And you'll see events at the top of the list, people looking for things to do. They're still looking for food and drink, obviously, things to do, attractions, where to stay, more things to do, obviously, categories of things to do, outdoor activities, plan your trip, Mardi Gras, hit the button there, events and categories, the auditorium, where to stay, hotels, motels, where to shop in galleries, cabins and cottages, and then again, top of the list, things to do. So people want to know what they can do when they get here. These are the organic pages, a little different than the paid, but it's very similar. Again, these are what people are doing on their own. They're looking for events and things to do, attractions, things to do, where to stay, and like the odd. And then at the bottom, oddly enough, we've got the spring fling bike rally that has popped up in our search. A couple more things that I want to go and show you. One is our meta prospecting and how that's worked out with particularly a zone that we like to go down to, and it's Little Rock Pine Bluff. Little Rock Pine Bluff is a huge area for us. We get a lot of traffic out of that market still, obviously, and we always will. 4,000 clicks with about 340,000 impressions, so our click-through is about 1.2. You know, you can argue back and forth, what's the average and what's the average? It is what it is, but it's costing us about 38 cents per click. But these are the types of things that we're putting online, and these are the meta prospects. We'll take another look here at a couple other things. And this, I kind of like this one because it takes us up to Kansas City, which we've had really good success in, and our impressions in Kansas City were way high, 419,000 impressions with 2,900 clicks. With a click-through of 0.69, and our average click-through ratios, or actually the cost is 47 cents. So these are the types of things that are getting people excited, and I thought this little St. Patrick's Day thing was really, really pretty good. You can see comments. We had 16 comments, which is, you know, fantastic, but on the same token, people are looking and they're making comments about what we're doing. A little bit of narrative here, not a lot, but a little bit. Danielle and I joined Mayor Berry for the Arkansas Arts Council Community Development Award in Little Rock on March the 7th. We went down. It was a wonderful ceremony, and Little Rock was very kind to us, at least the state was, and the city of Eureka Springs walked away with a great, great prize, I think, showing what we can do as an arts community. Madden Media came to us on March the 11th. For advanced training and voyage. That's our dashboard of everything that we need to know in terms of analytics and so forth. The significant work ahead includes working with some of our lodging partners to help determine the economic impact of events throughout the year. And I say that, and I'll double down on that one, to gauge the economic impact of events throughout the year. What we'd like to be able to do is to say that we know, based upon certain factors within our community, how effective events can be, and then we can measure by some of these metrics that we're going to talk about how we can best effectively make them work. Here's an interesting thing. Robert Earl King was a near sellout. I think there was 950 tickets sold. We have a capacity of 986. That was a Thursday night show. That helped us prove one important thing. It's the name that sells the show, and the name will sell the show. And if we have another Thursday night like that again, the retailers will be happy because we got reports the next day saying, wow, all these people came in from out of town, they stayed, they shopped, we love this. The odd thing about that show was that our staff, ushers and so forth, we didn't recognize that many people that were locals. We saw them obviously, but we didn't see that many. It was a lot of people that came from out of town. Danielle and Janice spent a full weekend in Dallas at the Dallas Travel Show this past weekend. Their work is proving of some great value to us with hundreds of contacts and a large amount of materials handed out over the 3-day event. We don't have the numbers yet back from Dallas about how many people were there, but the Denver show was in excess of 20,000. So, you know, when we hit those shows, we're really hitting it with a lot of ammunition, and it's really paying off for us. April 7th and 8th, this upcoming next month, marks the first hospitality training 2-day workshop that we are putting together. Jan and team put a lot of time and effort into the program, which hopefully will have a strong benefit for the community in terms of just how we approach hospitality and why it's so important for us. Tomorrow, one other mark, Thursday, March 27th, will be the final segment of CPR training for all of our ushers. All of our ushers are required to have this important training for events here at the auditorium. This is a very important slide for me. On a personal note, I will be out of the office April 3rd and 4th. On April 4th, Beverly and I are celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary.
You only get half a day, sorry.
Yeah. Ricky Skaggs is coming up on April 5th, along with Danielle's youngest daughter getting married. How did we do that? I don't know. It just worked out that way. But we want to make sure that you know that Ricky Skaggs is coming. And the last thing I got here is the Eureka Springs Music Awards, which will be here on April 13th. And that's going to be an exciting time, I think, for the entire community. So that's all I have for tonight.
Great. Any questions for Mike?
I have one question. A comment. I'm really glad to see that all the ushers are getting the CPR training. And on top of that, is there going to be plans, or is there a plan to install an AED somewhere? That they can
Install what?
There is one already up there? Okay.
Yeah, we have a brand new one, as a matter of fact.
Perfect.
We're one of 8.
Yeah, in the whole city, but if you look at the concessions and you take a look at the right, you'll see that big ball that's up in the pan, you twist it and then it comes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
On the page where you showed the traffic on the website, there were some pages, they had like, minus almost 80% views. Is there any need to improve those pages, or is that just because
Well,
there's nothing there?
absolutely. And that's a very good point, Robert. If we are down in an area, that's an analytic that we need to fix, seriously. And that's the advantage of having Voyage at our disposal, because we can go back and take a look at those analytics. And if it's not performing, then we've got to pull that out of there. That's as simple as that. A lot of times
improve.
with our mobile marketing, when you're getting so much of your marketing over your phone, which is such a dynamic everywhere we go, we have that ability to go ahead and be a little bit more proactive in terms of changing the messaging around, but also changing where those messages are going. In one of our experiments last year, we were targeting the LGBT community in New York and Los Angeles, and we felt like that was a good fit for us, and we'll continue to do those types of things. So we can be more location exact, and we can actually move this needle around a little bit more interestingly. We had someone come in the other day, and it's almost crazy in a way. They said, wow, we're getting a lot of business out of Minnesota. And that didn't make a lot of sense until we looked at the analytics and saw Minneapolis popping up, in our Google Trends of Minneapolis viewers taking a look at what was going on in Arkansas. So hopefully those are trends that will continue. But to your point, Robert, when we see those things, then those are signals for us to change and pivot what we're doing.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. I want to apologize. Number 5, public comments. I skipped right over that. I'm not sure why. I'm sure somebody's got something to say out there.
I don't expect to be ignored. No. Hi, I'm Jack Moyer, Crescent and Basin Park Hotels. I had a couple of things that I'm on the agenda for a little bit, but I thought you guys would be interested in business forecasts for the first 3 months. Just Crescent up 9.3% in room sales through the end of January. Basin Park down actually 0.5%, and the Crescent, a lot of that's in rate. So just an awareness. We are seeing a softness in April, which is common. That's a standard. But there is an uncommon bump, and that is the first 2 weeks in March, or excuse me, first 2 weeks in June are trending below previous years. So anyways, just for the agency's sake. That is what I mainly wanted to say, and I also wanted to make one comment on the event funding, how important the event funding is. And I wanted to encourage you guys to maybe consider going back to the previous practice. In the past, the primary events for Eureka Springs would receive standing funding. So as an example, Christmas, Mardi Gras, help me, Folk Festival. In today's world, it might be New Year's Eve, it might be Zombie Crawl, it might be Blues Weekend. Those were budgeted events that were within the department, and then the marketing support number was actually a little bit lower, and it was tiered. So you didn't always get $5,000 if you came. Sometimes you got 1,000, sometimes you got blah, 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 blah. I read in the paper, which I don't always believe, that would be not the smartest thing for me to do, but Scott, I think you do a great job. I'm sure you're listening. But I don't think, like, Zombie Crawl might be a good example, or May Festival of the Arts was another standing event. Those events lose money every year. You know, Blues last year, the net was like minus 21,000. So you got to be careful to think that they can stand alone after 3, because most of those long-standing events, the investment is so much, and many of the things that are done during those festival and events do not come with a ticket. So there's not necessarily a revenue offset for a lot of the expense. So I shared with you on the bottom of the Blues Festival promotion what the cost to produce an event like that is, and it's no small number. So any help is appreciated. But I just wanted to make sure I went on record to share that I think maybe the previous creating these standing events within our community that have reoccurring and budgeted allocations made a little bit more sense. And then the individual events, which are super important, right? That's what the agency's talking about. That's what our search results show is the #1 thing that people are looking for Eureka Springs, right? They have to receive some subsidy to be able to have the energy to reoccur. So you can spend a lot of money with your ad agency, but what they're selling is what's being created locally. So anyways, thank you for that. Did I meet my 3 minutes? Did I get more than 3 minutes because I was ignored?
I had to go back and check that. So. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Q or nobody? Okay. Old business, amended bylaws, chair term limits.
Danielle, what's that under?
It's section 8, so I think it's the first
First.
page.
First page, section 8,
The first 2 sentences is
the
where.
very
you're gonna
last
see
bottom.
the
Yeah.
Okay. I hate Apple products, so I'm on the documents page of what you provided here. Where is that?
bylaw.
It should be, if you see page 1 of 6, it is at the bottom of page 1, David.
It's not doing anything.
since we're waiting,
No.
the agenda item from what Heather put on kind of goes together, I guess. You know, I guess we can handle that together. There's a couple things.
No, I think we need to do it separately. This is just changing the bylaws.
Right.
We need to approve that, and then that's a whole different topic about how appointments are made.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be more lengthy than this. This is, do we need to vote on this? Is this why it's on the agenda?
Yes, you do, yeah, officially.
Well, before we vote on it, just to give that out, apparently we have to approve it, and then actually we should, according to our bylaws, we should vote over it at the next meeting, unless we suspend the rules.
Presented last meeting.
Well, you've already discussed it at the last meeting. It was brought up at the workshop, and this basically puts it into its place. So you could vote on it right now if you want to.
Well, you know, I'm going to Article 8, Section 2. Amendments shall be proposed in writing, and that's the first time that we have it in writing, at a regular meeting and voted on at the following meeting. That's in our
Would our
bylaws.
minutes not suffice as having
We-
something in writing that would?
We didn't have it in writing. We talked about it, but we didn't put it in writing. I don't have a problem. We can suspend the rules and
No,
approve.
we want to follow the rules, and there's no hurry like this. So,
Really?
Okay, we'll consider this presented in writing this meeting. The next meeting, we'll vote on it, okay? Everybody okay
You
with
know,
that?
right. That's the next top agenda item from Heather, that we kind of put that together and then have it in one thing.
It would be an update to the bylaws if we went ahead with state law.
I just prefer to keep it
Okay,
separate. So we
sure.
don't mingle those things and get confused what we're talking about here. So that would be our next meeting for the vote on the term limits. And that's been run through our lawyer, and it's been approved. B on old business is VRBO. Mike?
Yeah, there was two things there. David, I tried to answer the questions you had some time ago in reference to what the VRBO taxing was doing, and I highlighted those, I think, in that document you have. Those are the three things: accommodations, fees, fares, and then services are the ones that they point out. Couldn't find anything else, but that's pretty much what they did with Little Rock and every other document that I've seen.
So we're still getting VRBO taxes, and they break it down? We're not?
No, we're not getting VRBO taxes. That's why I need to go ahead and get this document sent to them so we can do that. So,
Was there an action item for me on what you sent me?
yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. Oops.
We'll have to beat that out.
I know, right?
Just if you would be so kind as to go ahead and ink that, if you'll review it again if you want.
Yes, I will. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. It's on page 1. So.
In bold print.
Is that it? Okay. New business, funding requests. We have 2 funding requests tonight. Which one's first?
The Basin Park Hotel and the Blues weekend was first.
Okay, Rica Springs Blues Party.
Hello, I'm Jack Moyer. I'm currently with the Basin Park Hotel and the Eureka Springs Blues Party. Exciting year this year. This is year 3 to bring the Blues Party back, Blues Festival. It's a crucial year, and we're expanding this year. So Thursday night will be a street party. So we're looking forward to that. That is a co-sponsored Music in the Park / Basin Park Blues event. The street will be detoured, and it will be an entertainment district for the full blues party. Patrick Sweeney, who's one of our standing regulars, but a great rocker, will be in the park that night. We've approached Angelo to do a drumming in the park warm-up. We'll have quite an event. The park for the Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be upgraded. It will be a blues land, so that will be festival center for all of the days. We, of course, will have a partnership with all of the area clubs. We'll have 20-plus blues shows throughout town during that time frame. We will have a Larry Schaefer show. He'll be bringing Indigenous in, and that Friday night. And then we will host at the Basin Park Ballroom. We have two excellent Blues Music Award winners that will be playing, including the Emerging Artist of the Year and the Female Artist of the Year for Blues Music Award winners. And then we'll culminate with a back-to-back headliner show. It's the first time we've done that, Saturday night, including Ruthie Foster, who won the Best Blues Album of the Year. She won a Grammy. And Anders Osborne, who's a fantastic act, sort of a New Orleans jazz festival legend. So it's going to be quite a show. It'll culminate with the Funk Party at Grotto upstairs and the send-off show at Chelsea's. So it's a big event. It's a $100,000 event. It's intended to be the signature event to demonstrate that Eureka Springs is the place to watch live music in the state of Arkansas. And I think we're sending that message. So we're here asking for a little marketing support, which we'll spend well more than that. We actually met with iHeartRadio today for a partnership, and we are debating that, but it's looking like it's a go. So.
Any questions for Mr. Moyer?
Well, the only question I have is the other application for the funding for the Center Street. It kind of goes together, doesn't it?
They're different events. Obviously, the Blues Party has plenty to promote, and I think the community center has plenty to promote. But I'll let you decide that. But I'll stand on this particular $5,000 request.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the $5,000 for the Blues Fest.
Second.
David made the motion. Shira seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thank you, sir. Next up. Introduce yourself, ma'am.
I'm Anna Smedley, and I'm also excited about the blues. I'm the executive director of the Eureka Springs Community Center, and I am here tonight to also ask for some advertising support for our event that we're hosting, Blues Weekend. This is our second year to host the Center Street Block Party. Last year we had 2 bands, a bar, food, and about 200 folks at our party year one. This year we expect to have at least 300, and we're kicking it up a notch. This time we're putting a focus on introducing a regional beer tasting piece to our event. That piece will be ticketed. And folks will get to taste from regional breweries, get some treats from some local chefs, and then we'll have a music show on a stage also that will be open to the public, and we will have a bar. This is a fundraiser for the Eureka Springs Community Center. We are a 501c3, and so we either raise all of our money from our own operations or fundraisers like this. I'm happy to answer questions.
Any questions? But to make this clear, this is the community center, a nonprofit, is taking advantage of the Blues Festival.
Yeah. Are you all familiar with the community center?
Yes.
Great.
Sure. Right. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the $2,500 for the Eureka Springs Community Center block party.
Second.
David made the motion, and Shira seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. Next thing, that's it for a funding request. CAPC LinkedIn page. Heather?
Yes, as acknowledging that the CAPC team already has quite a lot on your plates, I do wonder if there is an openness to exploring putting LinkedIn on the roadmap. That's where the meeting planners and decision makers are hanging out. And I know Janet's not here, and this might be something to weigh in with her, but obviously, like Kayleen Griffith is doing it beautifully on LinkedIn in Bentonville, and building our external brand. I'm also thinking about what is the employer brand and the presence on LinkedIn, and being seen as the experts that you are in the tourism industry. There is already a Eureka Springs City and Advertising Promotion Commission page. I don't know whether the team has access. I tag it often on LinkedIn. And so one does exist. I know that it's an older page, so I would hope you could regain access. If not, maybe create a new one. But I just know that there is so much going on that channel that it feels like a bit of a missed opportunity not to be there. So it was food for thought.
I think that's a great idea. We'll go ahead and dig into that. I did not know that Eureka Springs City Advertising and Promotion Commission had a page, however. So I do, and have had, and I think it's worthy of investigation. I know that many of our partners in the tourism business do those things, and I think I get about 4 or 5 different emails from LinkedIn every day about something. So, yeah, we'll go there.
Thank you.
Any questions or anything? We don't need a motion or anything like that, do we? Cool. And number C, added to the agenda, is new appointments. Heather?
Yes. So the current CAPC bylaws as they exist for appointments do not match with Arkansas code. And so Danielle, thank you for printing this for me at the last minute. Danielle printed these out, and if you look at section D all the way at the bottom, whether resulting from expiration of a regular term or otherwise a vacancy, et cetera, the 4 positions provided for, and then it goes to the at-large role. It does say appointment made by remaining members of the commission with approval of governing body of the city versus a mayor appointment. So that is something that we should probably update as well. Don't get mad at me, you all, because the terms do not match either. I was actually a little bit bowled over to see that the at-large role says a 4-year term. I don't know whether we have to match that. If we can check with legal, but it does say that 1 member serves for 1 year, 1 serves for 2 years, 1 serves for 3, 1 for 4. And so I think that this is worth reviewing and making sure that our bylaws match the state law.
I think there's a little misunderstanding. Sorry if I say it that way. The B part, it would be in the case of a city creating the commission. That is in the very beginning. So you have the staggering from the beginning. But we are since 1972,
I think.
or something.
Yeah.
So that was when they started. This has nothing to do with our current situation. We have the staggering already.
It does address, in the case that one existed prior to this coming out, it does say that specifically, that if the promotion, if it existed prior to March 4th, 1993, then this is how it shall continue. So it is spelled out in section C that there is a directive, if it already existed, then going forward it should exist like this. That's where my concern came from, and I just want to get clarification, because I don't know whether, this directive clearly says, in the case of a city in which a city advertising and promotion commission exists on March 4th, 1993, the members of the commission shall continue in office for the balance. And then it says, and then it goes on and says, however, if there is no date, and et cetera. So I just want to know, does this pertain to us or does it not?
It does pertain to us inasmuch as the commission was established way back in 1972. The one thing that you did point out, and this is something that has come up a couple of times, and we do have to address this, is the mayor does not appoint the at-large. And that's something that I think when we go back and take a look at the long bylaws, which is a 20-pager that we have, we'll need to go ahead and double check that to see if that has been addressed in that section right there. Now, what I can say is that Bill Watkins, our attorney, has gone through the current bylaw situation as of today, as a matter of fact, didn't put any kind of caution flag up there, but I'll go ahead and address that with him because he does work with other APs. And I think it's probably of some value that also you might want to know that Mr. Kiklak, who is going to be your new council representative, also is very versed in AP law. So just know that. If we have questions, I think we can probably get answers pretty easily. So,
Thank you.
Robert?
Well, I mean, the 4-year, that I don't see any need to change. But the point, right, if you look back, actually, there's an ordinance, 2220, I guess it's from 2015, where that term, what we have in our section 2, is in a city ordinance. So my question is, can we change it, or should the city change the ordinance before we can change our bylaw? Who goes first? That would be one first question. The other thing is, I'd like to point out that the CAPC not long ago had a problem with a commissioner which did not have a business and did not even live in Eureka Springs. And I personally would suggest that we find a term or a wording which says not shall reside in Carroll County. It should say shall reside west of King River, Carroll County, because that way we have somebody which is really closer to Eureka Springs. We don't need to have another problem living in Berryville or somewhere out in a county. So if we have a chance to, if we go and change that point, which I totally agree we have to, because it's not the mayor who appoints the at-large, but it should be somebody who's closer to Eureka Springs, and maybe that way we can avoid another catastrophe.
So just to clarify, you're asking for City Council to amend an ordinance, is that correct?
I guess you have to change it, you know. I mean, the ordinance was created in looks like 2015, and that's what it says, you know, that the it's article, it's A, and it says there that members shall be appointed by the mayor from the public at large who shall reside in Carroll County, Arkansas. And that's exactly what's in our bylaws. But like I said, I'm not sure who has to change it first. If we change it and the city will apply or will change their ordinance, or if the city has to change the ordinance first according to our suggestion.
I can go ahead and bring it up at the next meeting we probably just need to get rid of that ordinance if it's specific to the mayor.
We pay a lawyer for a reason. I'd rather have a lawyer look at
true.
it.
David.
The essence of the 2015 decision was made primarily because we were having a very difficult time finding anyone that would be an at-large member that basically would do it within the city. Now, there was a lot of applications that came forward. The commission apparently decided at that time that there was nobody suitable, but what was decided was it was better to go ahead and expand the district to Carroll County at that time. I think you might run into a little problem using a river as your designated area, though, Robert. You know, there's a little bit of an issue with what is proper city limits and Carroll County limits and so forth. On the same token, I think it's worthy of a conversation about the mayor's position in selecting that person and how that has been maybe transcribed inappropriately or not the right way, you know, from bylaw to bylaw, to copy to copy. I've got like I said, a 20-page document which takes us all the way into Carroll County, the prosecuting attorney. So there's a lot of information here we could go ahead and parse and determine if we're, in lockstep with each one of these documents. I think that Heather's point, though, is accurate in the case of this last section of C. It needs to be looked at again.
Thank you. I'm especially sensitive as the person in the at-large seat. So I want to just make sure, for transparency's sake, the community knows that we are conducting our due diligence and that I am supportive of that because it has come up to me a few times.
Well, furthermore, right now, we do have a commissioner position open, and that commissioner does have to be either a owner or operator of a hotel or a restaurant within Eureka Springs. They don't have to live in Eureka Springs, but they have to be operating that business in Eureka Springs.
And when you say when we say operating, do we mean managing or owning?
One
Because I
way or
know
the
several
other.
people that manage that I would like to approach.
Well, that was the point. I remember back in 2014, 15, I was at the CAPC at the time, and this is exactly what Mike said. We had issues to find somebody, and they were restaurant owners. They were not living in Eureka Springs, but they had their business here, and at the old bylaws, they were not allowed to be on the commission. But they were a very important contributor to the CAPC taxes, and so that was the point where we came up with the change. But I guess looking back, the remaining commissioners should always be careful who they appoint. But there must have been a problem happened in 19, 18, and somebody got in which shouldn't have been there. So.
But I think, Mike, if you run this by the lawyers and see what we need to do to make sure we're up to date and accurate and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Thank
And
you.
if you could ask for clarification on what operator means.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Certainly.
As a city council member, I want to take up with the council how every commission is different and how they appoint a person, how they're voted on. I think there needs to be more consistency on the appointing people and more steps put in place. I think there'd be more steps on how you renew what is that, not commission, but tenure. They come up for revote. I think maybe there should be a vote by the council or by the commission and then by the council. And then making it also easier to remove a commissioner. If you look back at all the lawsuits the city's dealing with, it's the commissions. We have, one or two CAPC lawsuits still pending. We have a Parks Department lawsuit still pending.
Hospital.
We have, it's like these commissions are getting the city sued over and over again. And I think the only thing we can do is look at tightening up how we appoint people, how we keep people, and how we can remove people if they're overstepping their bounds in these commissions. So I want to come up with some ideas to present to council.
That's good.
To say, and then it will have to go back to each commission to make a decision about doing
I
that.
think that's
or
another
changing.
positive thing about having Harrington Miller Kicklack as your attorney. He, served for a long time at the Arkansas Municipal League as an attorney, and he's well versed, in municipal league law, and I think that'll be a real plus, for the city to get those alignments together. The thing about, if you look at the Arkansas Municipal League book and you study it, you take a look, you will not find a lot of dialogue about commissions particularly. You will find them about advertising, and you'll find them about taxation and a lot of other things, but then all of a sudden you break them down into these little subsections of like cemetery and hospital and whatnot. You don't see a lot.
Yeah.
So
I think it's up to us to police ourselves and to make sure, because part of our job is to keep the city from being sued. It's like, if we can avoid that, that's a nice thing to do, So, because that's all of our taxpayers' money, that's all of our city, representation. So you passed out this bill. I don't mean to speak up for you, but
That's the latest that's the revision in House Bill 1445 that did not make it out of committee last week when they took it in, and it got voted down. I'm not sure what the vote was, but the point being, there'll be another iteration of this come forth after the next legislature goes in. Our lobbyist for the Arkansas Association of CVBs is digging into this a little bit more to try to understand what this language really does mean, because if you read the last line, it's very, very daunting. And I think that's one of the issues that all of the cities in Arkansas right now are very concerned about with STRs. So more later on that. And again, we have a good advocate for us working in the Capitol, and hopefully he'll be able to give us some insight as to where we need to go with this.
okay. Thank you.
Mike, something just dawned on me reading this last line. A local government shall not regulate the operation of a short-term rental marketplace. And you may want to bring up to him, it just seems like it's going to open the door to where you can't regulate anything within the city.
It opens a huge door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, Commissioner comments. We're going to start with Mr. Abzino over here.
I just want to say, looking at the video for the opera, I'm just dumbfounded. It's amazing what they've done. And I only ever see the top of the building as I drive on the highway. And I remember sitting in that little tiny opera house and could barely hear sometimes. It was hot. It was too cold, whatever. That space is amazing. It is really good. And I hope, this is a pipe dream, but I hope that they are open to having more than just operas there, because we have a stage now for something that is incredible, Broadway musicals, different kinds of concerts, whatever. So yeah, shout out to the opera and everybody that's worked on it.
Okay, Heather?
I want to say, I think I counted 14. Congratulations to those businesses in Eureka Springs who won Best of Northwest Arkansas, a few of whom are here at this table. Congratulations. That's really all that I have tonight. Thank you for coming, and thank you for volunteering your time.
Shira?
That's good enough for me.
Robert?
Well, spring is finally here. I think we're a little bit late this year, but everything looks good. But temperatures are going up, and the city looks like we're getting more and more busier. I was just surprised a little bit about the spring break week, Arkansas spring break week this week. Didn't seem to be too crazy. We had more people last week from like Missouri, and I don't know if others discovered the same thing, but April is coming, and there's a lot of things going on, a lot of events from Spring Fling to AA to Carving in the Ozark. There's so much more stuff going on. UFO, absolutely big thing, I think, for the ones who like it or who are interested. And I think we're going to have a good year.
Great, thank you. I've got my tickets to see Ricky Skaggs, so I'm looking forward to it. So it's wonderful. I want to thank Mike and Danielle and Ty and Kate and Jana for all your hard work. We appreciate it very much. And I'd like to thank all the commissioners here for your volunteering to be on the commission. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll have some applications for our vacancy pretty soon. So I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
David made the motion and Robert seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. We are adjourned.
Steve, I need your signature on this.
Yeah, I'm too